Hi everyone, number one Marmaduke fan here. A couple weeks ago, my local comic book shop owner loaned me two of his personal copies of Valiant trade paperbacks as a way of trying to get me hooked on Valiant, and I've done several videos praising him for doing that, using that as an example of why we need local comic book shop owners to get guys like me who are completely ambivalent about Valiant interested in some of the good stuff Valiant has done. So after I enjoyed those two paperbacks, I decided to pick up a couple of the $1 debut issues. They're sort of like Valiant's version of the True Believers comics to get people interested. And the thing about this is it feels a little Wikipedia-ish, and a lot of the information repeats itself, but this actually gave me a thesis. So this relates to something I've said before, which is I think manga and American comics are different. They can learn from each other, and some of the strengths of the manga market are also its weakness, and some of the weaknesses of the American market are also its strength. And I think this $1 one shot illustrates a weakness of the Western comics market, which is too much realism and too much copying past ideas, in contrast to the manga market where things are completely nuts. So as I'm reading this, let me just flip through this one to give you the illustration of what I'm talking about in Valiant, and then I'll make the connection to manga. So it's got these long articles that are just telling you who's who and who they fought with, and I really there's concept and execution. Concept is how you describe the story in a few sentences or a few paragraphs, and execution is how you actually do it, how good the art is, how neat the characters are. And most stories, if you just sum them down to a few bullet points, become less interesting because part of the story is how you tell the story, everything about it. Yeah, how beautiful is the line work. So I really liked the Exo Man of War book and the Ninjak book I read because they were so beautifully drawn. But if you summed down the story to a few bullet points, they probably wouldn't be as interesting. This pretty much describes over and over again this war between Exo Man of War and these other cast of superhero characters, and each Wikipedia style article is sort of describing the same few events from a few different characters' perspectives. So I'm figuring, okay, I was already kind of interested to go check this stuff out, but watch this with me. Okay, Roman soldier plus Iron Man armor who uses swords. This Eternal Warrior guy, he's pretty much Vandal, good guy version of Vandal Savage plus Wolverine. Toyo Harada, well, I guess he's Tony Stark billionaire plus evil Professor X. Livewire, I don't know who she is yet. Her powers are controlling technology. Okay. Ninja K. I enjoyed the Ninja K book, but ninja plus sort of a Batman solid Snake vibe. A lot of these characters feel like retreads of things I've seen 100 times before, and if you didn't grow up with them as children, it's harder to care about them. The comic book store owner actually told me a really interesting story about the legal history of some of these characters, how they were created for a video game license, like Turok, I think, Turok Revolution. They were doing comics, and then they created a bunch of new characters, and then they lost the Turok license and revamped everything and tried to do something with their new characters. So now let's contrast this to manga. I wanted to read My Hero Academia before I watched the anime, but then I ended up watching a whole bunch of anime episodes while working and went past where I was reading the manga. And there's this side character in the anime who's got like a Scotch tape power. Like he's it's in his elbows. Like he swings his elbows, and then this tape comes out and wraps up the bad guys. And I kind of laughed, but it annoyed me because it's so ridiculously over the top, and it's so Shonen Jump. And I think it's because of the popularity of One Piece that a lot of manga artists will include these just ridiculous characters with sort of joke powers as side characters, and maybe once in a while you see them in action. And I love it and I hate it. I love it because it's just so silly and over the top and rawly creative. I'm sure little boys love that stuff, but I also hate it because it kind of breaks my immersion into the world. My Hero Academia is supposed to be about the world's greatest school for up and coming superheroes. You're telling me that out of all the people on the planet, Scotch Tape Arm Boy, whatever his superhero name is going to be, he's the one who beat out everybody else and got into this very elite and prestigious school. It's there as a joke, but it's a joke that's kind of at the expense of being absorbed in the world. So it's a strength and a weakness of manga. Valiant has the opposite problem. There's no Scotch tape armed characters, but these all look like and sound like characters I've read 10 times before in Marvel and DC books. This is evil Professor X with a little bit of a Tony Stark haircut and Tony Stark money. Now maybe I go read the book and it's really investing and really well drawn and I really dig it. But when you sum it down to a few paragraphs, this sounds boring. If I sum down My Hero Academia and I just tell you there's a guy with Scotch tape arms in it, that's one of the things about manga. If you describe the idea down to a few basic sentences, it often still clicks you. I'm sorry, snap warning there, guys, trigger warning. But sometimes they're ridiculous concepts, but they're always intriguing concepts. Girls und Panzer. It's about a bunch of high school girls who join a club where they drive tanks and engage in mock tank battles. That 3-sentence description has a hook. It sounds interesting and grabs you in. When they're describing this war between Harada and all these guys, it's that even though my comic book store owner gave me the best pitch possible for Valiant Comics, that it's understandable that you can realistically read all the books and get what's going on, and they don't have upside down, inside out, time travel universe, parallel dimension paradoxes. It's just a straightforward fight, and these articles read like, okay, he fought him, and he fought him, and this little group of secret people fought that little group. Oh, Faith, you need help, dear. Oh, dear. I feel bad. So, yeah, this guy, it's totally not Captain Punisher America super soldier program. She looks kind of cute, but I don't know. The brother of the ancient Eternal Warrior. So it's Vandal Savage McWolverine's twin brother, who's got a little bit of a different jive to him. Oh, look, lots of secret organizations for you to keep track of. I don't know who this guy is, General Redacted, but if his enemy is communism, I don't care what he does in the book, I'm going to be rooting for that guy, no matter what. Dr. Mirage, is she sort of like a Doctor Strange paranormal investigator? Actually, my comic book store owner told me I wouldn't like it, and when I was about to buy like a $1 one-shot with her, and he's good enough that if he thinks I'm about to buy something he thinks I'll hate, he lets me know, hey, you go ahead and just put that back, and boy, thank you. I love it when a comic book store owner helps me save my money. That gets some repeat buys from me. So all I know from him is he's the biggest Valiant fan ever, and he doesn't think I'd like Dr. Mirage. I don't know. Totally not the Phantom plus the Grim Reaper. That's the thing. I think that Scotch tape armed side character from My Hero Academia is ridiculous and annoying, but I'm never gonna forget that there's a character in My Hero Academia who's got Scotch tape powers. And this is just, it's the Phantom plus the Spirit plus the Spectre all over again, you know? So I'm not saying I hate Valiant or I'm not gonna check out Valiant. All I'm saying is this format isn't the best sell for Valiant. I can't be too mad because I paid $1 for it, but I wish they would have given me maybe a little extra concept art. Show me the pretty stuff. Show me the pretty drawings to get me to go get these Valiant comic books. Valiant. But 2 strong trade paperbacks, Exo-Man War Soldier and Ninjak. I don't know which version of the character it is. I think it was maybe the 2016 series. I got the volume 1 of that trade paperback, and I am happy with the quality being put into the Valiant books. I just still have this problem of, if I compare this to manga is just so ridiculously over-the-top creative that even if it annoys me sometimes, even if the tropes and the weebishness of manga annoys me sometimes, I still give it props for just being so dang bold in the kind of goofy stuff it tries to sell to people. So, yeah, I guess my point is, if you read manga, give some Western comics a shot. If you read some Western comics, give the weebs a shot, because I do think that you can learn something from both styles of storytelling. Where screw the telemarketer who messed up that take. I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Why don't you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to receive notifications of new videos from me, and I'll catch you all later.